Alrighty. This is a watch along of the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. I believe it's the series finale because it's like a mini series. I don't believe it's actually a season one. Um, so this should be the thing that wraps up the series. I don't know if that's because it was never intended to have a sequel, or if it didn't do successfully enough for it to generate a sequel. But as it stands, this is a watch along. You have to have your own copy. I will give you a countdown of three, two, one, go, and we will launch at the same time. I will pull my audio cord out right now so that you can hear the beginnings of the episode as an audio cue to sync up your version because I cannot broadcast somebody else's copyrighted content. So this is a watch along. And I will be giving my 1 minute review in the near future, I imagine. Maybe. I shouldn't make that promise, but I will give my 1 minute review of the series. And then potentially, if people are interested in hearing more thoughts on the whole thing, I may give a longer form review at a certain point in the future. I am curious to see where this series ties up because they've left it all as like one big banger of an event at the end here. But with that in mind, let's just jump right into it. I will give more thoughts about it at the end. In three, two, one. Chapter 7 In the Name of Honor. The spice must flow. So they wiped out the Tuscans, who were getting paid, were to get paid for their right to pass through their territory. They got Boba Fett to wipe out the biker gang, who they had to pay to get through that territory. They're going after this territory here, which was former Jabba territory. Oh, when did you get so sanctimonious? You were looting and shooting as you were going wherever you wanted to go. Are we gonna take him out, or are we just gonna make him? Shot the marshal. No, don't the summary exposition is not doing it for me. Like if your series hadn't set that up well enough beforehand, don't dump it on us now. I wouldn't count on them. I wouldn't expect them to. I wouldn't allow them to choose where they're going to strike first. I think would be the scenario you want to deal with differently. Play smart. Where's Slave One? Just punch him. Stuff just got real. Oh, just shoot him. What are you, stormtroopers in training? Well, you've cleaned out the territory so nobody's in there to be collateral damage. I just dropped one of those grav charges right down in the middle of the city square. Just nobody cares. Just shoot him. Just set him up to get his butt killed. Go F yourself. I can think of a few people who are going to be upset we don't get to see a Rancor. Don't waste the shots on one guy. That's gonna be your Wookie. There we go. Oh, nice. Oh, come on. You can't take him out. Let him get there. Don't celebrate. And everybody back in the building. Fennec. Oh, geez. You're in deep doo doo. Yeah, that's a waste of time. They're gonna be fine. They've got shields, dude. Were you not paying attention? You should have dropped a mine so that when they walked over it, it'd be inside their shields. What are you not paying attention to here? Shields. He's gonna come through with the Rancor. Please tell me he's coming through with the Rancor. The Rancor will wreck shop. The Rancor and those two things would definitely be in order. Get them to shoot each other. Oh, get in there. Oh, yeah, those knuckles. Yeah, buddy. Oh, come on. She spit out a tooth. Rancor fight. Yeah, baby. Rancor fight. Come on, Rancor on the stupid droid there. Come on. Reach through. You Oh, nice. Oh, hey, no, don't kill the Rancor. Come on, Grogu. Size matters not. Crunch. Pick up the dark saber, you got your dark saber there. That's going to be an important piece of him. Yeah, you're not getting through to the droid, so just pick off the fighters with your shots. Like, it's almost like the people who came up with this storyline idea didn't understand how combat strategy works. Don't you kill that Rancor. Snap its arms off. Go for it, buddy. No. Yeah. Wilhelm. Ooh, Cad Bane. Do we take him out or we just knock him on his butt and leave him for dead? You really want to go down for this fight? Cad Bane. Hey, no! Stop, guys. Don't do King Kong. Don't do King Kong. Heartburn? It's a hell of a hit. Boba might want to step in at a certain point here. This is hilarious. He's snuggling up to a rancor. Maybe start putting some pike helmets up on those spikes, huh? Yeah. I'm surprised she wouldn't leave him alive enough for Boba to have his finish with him. That's not a bad way to settle up the series, honestly. I don't think we need more than that. I think you delivered on what you offered us. That's adorable. Woo! Oh, nice. That was worth it. That was worth it. Yeah, I think that's where you need the series to go. We don't need to take it further than that. The series is completed by that. I mean, it's not completed. We still have questions about whether or not any of the Tuscans survived. We know which one we want to still be around there somewhere. Is there a close credits? Are they bobaing? There- Oh yeah, there's a. Oh, is the marshal in the Bacta tank? Is that who that is? It's in use. Oh man, you introduced a good character, and you're not gonna let him go on us, are you? I mean, Boba's turned himself into a respect. Well, I mean, I don't know if yeah, he's been reasonably respectable for most of his stint as Boba Fett, but there's a part of me like I could almost see a harsher man than Boba could be. Like a Cad Bane, I could almost see if Cad Bane were in those scenarios, he might put that Pike leader in that back the tank, bring him back, screw him up again, and put him back in the tank, bring him back again, and just keep going. Yeah, I like. I don't know what their intent to handle that would be. Like he's been a good guy. They're playing it sort of ominous there for a bit, and I don't think it needs to be played as ominous. But like there's fan fiction that we could produce for taking bits of the story and further. But I think overall we don't need more Boba Fett. Like the Boba Fett series, he can be a guest character, and the characters from this series can be guests in other series going forward. But I don't think we need more of this. Like you can have Boba Fett as daimyo of the region uninterrupted, unbothered by having to follow his story further. Like we had in the Return of the Jedi storyline that Luke just shows up to talk to Jabba. We don't need to see years of Jabba's backstory for it to be a worthwhile story. I think we did pretty bloody well to finish where we finished off. And honestly, I don't have a huge problem with most of this series. I do think their timelining it was a little tricky. Like where in the timeline events happened. I think they rushed things to a certain degree, but like I think I said in one of the previous episodes, I don't think there was a way to do this more gradually. Like the time he spent with the Tusken Raiders feels like a week. We got a week of him with the Tuscans. But the implication is that he was there for months, if not years, with the Tuscans. And so if he was with the Tuscans for years, it makes a little more sense that he adapted to be part of their community. But then to wipe them out off screen just seems like a dishonest and uncaring way to do that. Like they served their purpose. We've used them for what we needed to use them for. Now we have to get them out of the way for the story to progress beyond this point. And so it feels a little bit like that. But like if you tried to introduce us to, I mean, honestly, the equivalent of that story is The Last Samurai, with Tom Cruise. And so if you played that story out, I can kind of see that kind of thing being implied as to what happened, or Dances with Wolves is the other one. That kind of thing it played out in that story. Like I can insert that mentally myself in this series, and as a TV series for Star Wars, it's a lot to ask them to fill that whole kind of concept out further, especially probably with the budget they had for doing this. And I think this happened during the pandemic, so it probably crimped the series a little bit. But I do feel like there's sections of it where they glazed over a lot. And in the start of this episode, I believe it was Fennec is expositioning and recapping for us, and that was frustrating for me because I don't need it being recapped like that to me. If you have to tell your story to the audience for them to be invested in what's going on, you've done it wrong. But excising that component of this, I think there's room for saying, like, I don't need, like, I feel like to a certain degree, I needed some of that space early in the series for it to breathe in the depth and gravity of what was going on. But I don't really need it. It just feels like they're asking me to buy into the emotional impact of things that we haven't been given the time to develop that emotional. So I'm going to have to just kind of like, all right, I'll walk with you a little ways on that one. I'll give you a bone. And I feel like in a series, if you have to give them a bone for it to work out, there were other methodologies that could have been done to handle it better so that I don't have to. I mean, it's a series of 45-minute to hour-long episodes. I think we've had examples of how we can become invested in the emotional impact of certain events in a 2-hour movie or other episodes of Star Wars TV that imply to us everything we need to become as invested in the characters and the events going on. So I think there were some that missed the boat on how to execute that well. And I think part of it was pushing the storyline too fast. I also feel that of the last 3 episodes, the 2 previous to this last one gave a lot of their space to expanding the Mandalorian TV series. So Grogu and the Mandalorian. I feel like if we had used that space for the Boba Fett storyline expansion, like expand the time with the Tuskens and the development of that situation more, eating into the Mandalorians episode and giving more space to some of the rest of the story development, for the quarter to third of this second to last episode that was Grogu storyline. Like I could have I don't dislike those episodes. I like that we had those episodes, but they're in the wrong series. I feel like we had enough for Mando to show up on Tatooine and get the call from Fennec to join the fight, seek out the gunslinger up north. I don't even know if it's up north. That's probably not the right term for it, but the gunslinger out on his Freedom Town or Freetown or whatever that was, and Grogu to show up and get in the mix towards the end there. Like that's all we needed. The Mandalorian episode could have been a one-shot episode for a tide you over till next time for season 3, and the Grogu episode could be a component of the Mandalorian series as well. So you could have done the Mando episode and the Grogu components of that penultimate episode as 2 episodes of Mando 2.5 and used that space in this series to grow out and flesh out the events going on in the Boba Fett setting. But now that we've hit the end of the Boba Fett series, I think they were trying to, it looks like at the end there, they were trying to set up a little bit more of where the series would go in a season 2 if they were going to expand it further. I don't know whether or not they intended to have a second series, or if this is going to be, this is going to be something they reference back to in Mando season 3. This is just going to be stuff that now exists that they can tap into as part of the setting they've established. So the ring world and most whatever that they have here for Boba's territory, Freedom Town, and their gunslinger, like all of that being territory that we can revisit and characters we can pick up and interact with again going forward. I think overall, like, you've left it in a good place. You've given us world to add to and explore and build off of. We don't need to know what it's like for Boba for the next 15 years of conflict and holding on to his territory or whatever emergencies he comes across. Like, it sounds like he's pretty much embedded himself as daimyo of that territory now. I don't need to know Boba's fall from grace. I don't need to know Boba's day-to-day running his empire. I don't need to know anything more. You can have it as background of, season 3 of Mandalorian. They visit Boba's turf and see him managing his empire, and in the same way that we saw Boba and or not Boba, Jabba the Hutt handling his territory. I hope that they don't squeeze more out of this than is intended for it to be. I think it's good for where it is. And for that matter, we're good for where we are for tonight. So I thank you for joining me for the series. I will probably do an estimate of, or a review or ideas or discussion of it in a future episode of reviews. All right, I will catch you later. May the force be with you, I guess.